How's it going, everybody? We are live right now, and we are finally back. We took about a 1 week hiatus, and we went to Puerto Rico, had a nice vacation for ourselves. I hope you guys didn't miss us too bad, but we are back to provide more information for you guys. We did film a few videos. We also an Instagram Live, you guys were on that. So before we get started in this video, I want to thank everybody that's watching right now. We have a lot of people that are actually waiting in line for this video, and I want to thank everybody that has helped us get to 7,500 subscribers, because we just hit that this morning, I believe. We're at like 7,507 now. So we're pretty much already at 8,000. So let's get ourselves to 8,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. The channel has been growing a lot quicker than it usually has. And, I can't do it without you guys. I can't thank you guys enough. So thank you guys very much. And without further ado, please say, where you guys are from and who you guys are, where your position is with manual eBay dropshipping so far, and we'll get right into it. So far, it looks like I'm frozen on the screen. Hopefully, we're not actually frozen on the live, but that could be slightly an issue.
If you guys have any questions, drop your questions right off the bat. We'll try to get some of these questions answered. We may or may not be having technical difficulties right now, so this is an interesting little...
Yeah, whatever. We're going to keep going. So I saw that Paul actually had issues with his live earlier today, too. So there could be an issue with the YouTube live system, but we're going to go off of it. And what we wanted to talk about in this video was basically everything about what we think the future of eBay dropshipping is, and pretty much, what we think what's going to happen the rest of 2019 and in the future. And we wanted to talk about a bunch of different topics, and we want you guys to obviously fill in and let us know what you guys want us to talk about, because we have been going with the manual eBay dropshipping route for about 7 months now. And we have seen so many people out there that are still talking or using the automated softwares that are getting themselves flagged. I saw a post today on Facebook where somebody talked about their account, and they showed a screenshot of literally just a straight drop. And are we actually talking the automated software? Yeah,
let us know if you guys could see us, because on our end right now, our screen is frozen. It's displaying what you guys are seeing. And if you guys are having any problems, let us know in the comments. Or if you can't hear me, then that's going to be interesting.
Could be an issue slightly. But yeah, so we wanted to make sure that, the proper words are getting out there of like, what is the right thing to be doing? Anybody that says, all right, so Jameson Stevenson says it's good. All right, so we're good. So what everybody is, you should not be using automated software. And I hope nobody watching this live right now is actually using automated software. So if you are doing that, if you're still using Amazon onto eBay, it's really just an outdated method. We've made endless videos about it, and we really kind of just want to talk not anymore about that at all. We want to talk about the future, and that's what the whole point of this video is. So, we were talking about it. We made a video about it in Puerto Rico, and we wanted to make more of a long form video before we actually launched the short term video of it. So we were mentioning, manual eBay dropshipping, and we do believe that that is the best way to be going when you're a beginner with eBay dropshipping. But the one thing that we always try to preach to our students is to always be looking forward into the future of your business, not just what eBay dropshipping is doing, but inside of your business and everything about your business, because you should, in fact, be working on what is best for you. And if manual eBay dropshipping as a beginner is the best way to start, but as you grow and grow and grow, you should be looking into other options, like what Jason is doing with wholesale dropshipping, or breaking out or breaking into Amazon dropshipping, or maybe Shopify,
building out a brand on Shopify, diversifying your income stream. And right, it's not limited only to online marketplaces. You can build out your own store on Shopify. Although one of the things that we've seen, especially from Instagram, is there's tons of gurus out there saying how easy it is to build out a Shopify store, a Shopify dropshipping store, and start making money overnight. You're going to make thousands of dollars overnight. But the realistic part of that is that that's not how it works. I've built out my Shopify store for over 3 years now. And honestly, it took over a year and a half for it to really start reaping the benefits that I thought it was going to in the beginning. So it takes a lot of time. You have to build out a lot of the marketing. You have to know what sells and what doesn't. So that's more of a long-term play. And this whole manual eBay dropshipping is the short-term play. And you want to start out with this. And that's what we've been really trying to get the beginners to look at and develop their skills with eBay dropshipping.
Yeah. So, the way that we think it should be going is manual eBay dropshipping with retailers. Hopefully don't use Amazon to eBay. I've seen people still do it. I just wouldn't do it. I don't think you should be doing it. Then there's the Walmart onto eBay, stuff like that. But then eventually you want to branch into other retailers of some sort, work with more obscure suppliers. I just found a pretty cool one today on Skew Grid that I've never heard of before. They were selling a ton of garden gnomes, and they actually allowed drop shipping on their website. So I thought that was cool. Work with more of the obscure suppliers like that, get into the wholesale drop shipping, possibly at the same time branch into Amazon, because it's pretty much the same concept. You just want to make sure that you have your eBay dropshipping concepts down pat, because if you don't and you lack a solid foundation when you get onto Amazon, you're going to get eaten alive. And I can guarantee you that the ability to sell something when it's out of stock on Amazon at like 30 to 40 a day is very highly likely, and it's possible where if you didn't set a repricer up properly, or if you didn't set something up properly to begin with, you could literally just completely ruin your account right from the beginning.
Yeah. Speaking of Amazon dropshipping, do you want to talk a little bit about your past experience in like the last month with Amazon dropshipping? Because pretty much we've been talking all about eBay manual dropshipping, and Tom was talking about Amazon dropshipping, but kind of put it off to the side. And he's seen some crazy results. And I actually want to announce that I'm getting back into the Amazon dropshipping game this week. My main account's still suspended. I have all my funds frozen, but I'm going to do what I have to do to get back onto Amazon, because I don't want to be sitting on the sideline, because there's a lot of money to be made on that platform when you do it right. And you have to be cautious with the way that you do it. I've learned my lesson. I think I'm ready to get back into the game. So do you want to talk a little bit about, some of the sales figures and how you've been going about Amazon dropshipping in the past couple of weeks?
Yeah. So basically what happened was I was doing the same thing as Amazon onto eBay, the easy method that everybody talks about and everybody does. And I was doing Walmart onto Amazon, which is the beginner method for Amazon. And I was seeing good success. It's very low front end margins as expected. And, you use cashback credit cards and have a good cashback portal, and you're making like 5, 6, 7% a sale. And then you're just working high volume. In the month of March, I hit 94,000 in sales.
That's awesome.
But it was just like with any issue with Amazon onto eBay, it's the same thing. It's too many sales to keep track of. The profit's not high enough. Things fall through the crack. And eventually Amazon is definitely cracking down on that as well. So what happened to me is they actually asked me for proof that I was selling this item, like proof that I am allowed to sell this Better Homes and Gardens brand item, which if you guys know the brand, or if you know anything about dropshipping on Walmart or from Walmart, that's one of Walmart's specific brands, unless you're buying straight from their magazine or their website themselves, Better Homes and Garden. So what Jason and I did was, first off, I messaged a few people that are, more knowledgeable than me, and they helped me out with like a plan of action. From there, me and Jason went out to Walmart and found the item, or almost the item. We couldn't find the item. We found like a slight version of the item. And I'm going to make a whole video on this. I believe I've already made the PowerPoint for it. I just didn't make the video yet. And so we found a similar version. We bought it. And then I just photocopied the receipt, even though the date was the same date that I actually got in trouble. They wanted proof of all my sales, but luckily I hadn't sold that item yet. So me having one receipt was kind of the way to go. And at that point, they said I was good to go. Everything was allowed. And at that point, I realized it's not worth selling on Walmart anymore, or selling Walmart items on Amazon anymore. It's just too much of a hassle, just like anything else. And Amazon is clearly trying to crack down on it. So I looked elsewhere. I used some of the obscure suppliers that I talk about inside of the eBay course, and I just put them on Amazon, which I already had a few going, but not very many. I really kind of doubled down on it. Right now, I only have like less than 50 items on my store, and I'm at 44,000 in sales again. So I restarted like 32 days ago or 34 days ago, and I'm already at 44,000. I had a $3,300 day the other day.
That's awesome.
And the profits are a lot higher on the front end. I'm hitting anywhere between 7 to I hit like 30 something percent, but that's kind of a fluke. Anywhere between 7 to 15% regularly with these items. And, it's definitely the way to go.
So would you say the main takeaway with the whole Walmart to Amazon dropshipping is to eliminate it?
Yeah.
Just don't even go for it.
Don't fall into the trap. It's not really worth it. As with anything, it's kind of learn something a little bit in the beginning and just try to get used to it, but then quickly move on is what I have been teaching with eBay. And that's what we are going to be teaching with Amazon in the future.
Yeah,
so,
but honestly, though, Walmart's still a viable source for eBay, and we've seen that as long as you're doing everything manually.
Yeah.
I would say, though, that the trajectory or the path that it's going on is Walmart in the future probably won't be the greatest supplier, because it's just like what we've seen with Amazon in the past, is that everybody starts doing it. The price gets really, really low and really competitive, and everybody's scrapping for 1-2% front end margins.
Or if you don't have discounted gift cards, then you won't make anything.
It's a tough situation. So that's why we're really trying to differentiate ourselves and go for obscure suppliers or wholesale suppliers where you can kind of get those margins that you're looking for, 10, 15, 20% even. So that's kind of the main takeaway with Walmart. It's not really a great option for Amazon, but it's still viable for eBay at the moment. It could change in the future. Yeah. So we got a lot of comments. We're going to start answering some of these comments and welcoming some of these people in.
So Matt Parker's here, or he might be. He said he was coming back. So thank you for showing up.
He's a student.
Dedicated student of ours. I sent 2 comments in there. BG Andreev says, what is the future of eBay? And we're going to go over that throughout this entire thing. Jameson Social, how's it going, man? Mobo Mania here from the UK, Tom and Co. Yay. You are good. Thank you, BG. David Garver, also a student, says, welcome back. Thank you very much. Michael Watson says, what documents websters to have for tax exemption? Message me on Facebook about that. I did see your post and I forgot to answer it in the group. I'm very sorry about that, but message me on Facebook. I don't want to talk about that here. So everybody's saying I look fine. I know I look beautiful. Thank you. Why people buy from eBay and they don't buy directly from platforms like Banggood? Because nobody knows those platforms exist. The average American does not know Banggood or Aliexpress, even though we don't use those. We don't drop ship from China really at all. I've never done it. They don't know they exist. They don't know it's a thing. I mean, I was talking with Ann the other day about it with the girl that I'm talking to. Literally, she had no idea that Aliexpress was a thing. She spent the next 3 hours on there just looking at different things, bought a phone off of it, then returned it because she didn't like it. But it was just like, they don't know these things exist.
I've purchased off of Aliexpress, Alibaba, and DHgate in the past. I haven't done any Banggood. But honestly, one of the biggest problems that I've experienced with those platforms from China is the lead time is so long. And I know that they do have some fulfillment centers in America, but it's more rare. But most of the time, you're going to wait 2, sometimes 3, 4 weeks for an item to come in. So the average customer on eBay or Amazon is not going to wait that long. And that's my biggest takeaway from actually experiencing those long lead times, is it takes too long and the customer comes to expect 3-day handling time, 2-day handling time. And those items, you want to get those to your customer as quick as possible. They're also sometimes they tend to have lower quality directly when you're buying from AliExpress. You have to think, if you can get a unit for $1.20, there's a reason that it's so cheap, right? And that's a middleman. AliExpress is like the retail version of Alibaba. So I'm just saying to be cautious, and you don't want to jeopardize your account. That's the most important thing when you're running any e-commerce store, is you want to make sure that your metrics are high and you're in good standing with eBay or Amazon. So really take that into consideration when you're sourcing from Banggood, AliExpress, DHgate, etc.
One thing that to build off of that is make sure you're always selling great items no matter what, because without a store, you can't sell items. And if you're selling terrible crap items, then there's a chance you could get banned for any other amount of reasons: customer complaints, returns, low metrics of any sort. And if you don't have an account, you won't be able to sell. So think of it that way. Eat the $10 or something that somebody's asking you for to avoid a negative feedback in order to keep your account, which is basically the only thing making you money.
Yeah. So my cousin's in the house, Alex Tominelli.
What's up, Alex? Man? How's it going?
Justin, he's Justin Whiteshall. I think I said his name right. He's a student. He says he can see us.
5 out of 5. That's great. That's great. Just cleared up. You're fine. Gene's in here. Thank you very much for stopping by, Gene. He said that you can see us very well. I see and hear you. And Noah says, what do you think about eBay switching to a catalog system like Amazon? Honestly,
we've been waiting for that for a while.
I hope it happens sometime soon, even though it's kind of happening. It's not really happened yet. It's not 100% at all. And I'm excited for it, first off, because it makes repricing of items and getting a dynamic profit margin way easier. Where if you're doing eBay dropshipping right now and you want a dynamic profit margin, you're going to have to check every item every once in a while and say, oh, my competition's here, let me lower it. Oh, my competition's here, let me raise it. On eBay, on Amazon, that doesn't happen. Everybody's on one listing. There's 40 people on one listing, and the software looks at it, and you set up a little, what's it called? A profit margin setting or whatever it's called, a strategy and informed. You set up a strategy to say, hey, I don't want to go lower than this price, and I don't want my highest margin to be higher than this price, and then stay anywhere between those based off my competition and undercut my competition by 1 penny. Don't be that guy. Stay equal to the lowest competition, and then you'll be good. Like, it's very dynamic pricing and margins, where if you're okay getting a 5% lowest margin, every time you make a sale, unless something catastrophically went wrong, you're going to be making a minimum of a 5% margin, but you could be making a 12% margin, and you don't have to be doing the math or checking your items every day. It's way better. It's so much better.
And here's a pro tip to anybody out there who's selling on Amazon. Tom just talked about this by undercutting the buy box by 1 penny or 5 pennies, whatever. If you're a seller on a product and there's multiple sellers on there, and you put your desired profit window or threshold to, let's say, $19.99, and you want it to be 1 cent lower, right? You're trying to get the buy box, but the thing is that you actually will share the buy box with other sellers, right? So if you all have the same price, and you'll see this a lot of times on Amazon, let's say there's 5 sellers selling at $19.99, you will all go through the buy box. That means you own a percentage share of that buy box. You will get your profit, right? You don't want to get into competitive price wars where you drive down the price to nothing.
That's what the Walmart onto Amazon is.
And it ends up being catastrophic because everybody ends up losing in the end. You end up going negative, or just, trying to scrap some pennies on the back end. It's not a sustainable way to go. Plus, it ends up wasting a lot of your API calls, or, if you have somebody who's going in there manually repricing, it just ends up wasting a lot of time. So just set it to what the buy box is currently at. That's always what I did, and that worked well for me.
Yeah, it works very great. And you don't have to be the lowest price either. The buy box is given to people within 5% of what the buy box price is. Yeah. So TY says, doing manual eBay, but sales are brutally slow. You honestly should check if your account's flagged if it's not a brand new one. Secondly, you should check what your prices are compared to your competition. If you're selling at 10% higher than your competition, then there's a chance that you probably won't make any sales. Thirdly, how many items do you have on your store?
If you only have 10 items, right, you're not going to be getting sales. Or if you have 25, 30 items, depending on how good those items are, you might not be getting consistent sales every day. Yeah. So those are probably the 3 biggest factors that Tom and I. Fourthly
would be picking good items, making sure that they're great on Zik Analytics, they have prior sales history, and that you are really making sure that they are the best items to be listing. As you start getting good sales, you can start getting more lenient on what you're listing, because it doesn't really matter. You're already making good sales. You can do some tests, throw up some items that aren't that great. But if you want to start making money right off the bat, you need to make sure that your items are extremely, extremely popular and have a high likelihood of selling, as in they've sold 10 times in the last 30 days, or even 15 maybe if you find something like that. But, as time goes on, I tell my VAs now 1 to 2 times, because it's more of an obscure supplier I'm using primarily at the moment. Then just do that.
So DIY Gain says, thank you for your content and efforts in providing eBay tips and tricks. I am from Mississippi, and I make $1,800 in sales per month and am growing as manual store. Not to your level yet, but working on it. Nice, man.
That's awesome.
Keep going with it.
Keep it up, and you're going to see success as long as you keep listing more. We have a ton of students that are seeing awesome success, and it can't make me or Jason happier as coaches and teachers then, because what we put out there is actually students are seeing results, and there's people in here that are students that are also posting their results, or have posted their results, or talk about their results all the time. And, it's really great just to see the actual results of somebody else, not just myself, because, I can only make so many results before it just kind of gets boring. It's like, you can build as many stores as you want, but coaching is so much more fulfilling.
We have a private members group for all of the students that are in our main course. And in the last 3 weeks, especially, we've seen so many screenshots of their sales on the eBay dashboard, and them basically saying how this manual eBay dropshipping method has worked so well, and everybody is getting these consistent sales. And this is what we're looking to see, is everybody transition to manual eBay dropshipping and get these results that our students are seeing.
And Joe Cox just hit 50,000 in sales on one account in 30 days. Wow. So
did he really?
Yeah, he sent me a screenshot of it. So that was like a week ago, I believe, but I couldn't give out the announcement. We were busy in Puerto Rico, and
we had a good time.
We had a business trip. And so Simology says, is eBay close new accounts automatically in 2019? I don't know what that really means, but no, I mean, everything we've been teaching is that they're not closing new accounts. Just open a new one And as long as your other accounts are in good standing, you don't owe them like thousands of dollars, or you're not trying to fraud them, or you weren't previously banned, you're going to be fine. You're fine. Just make sure that if you were selling on that old account, which is one thing I've seen some people get hit with, if you were selling on that old flagged account recently, and maybe your metrics weren't in good shape or anything like that, make sure that you keep track of that account for 1 to 2 months afterwards, because there's return complaints that could come in. And if somebody asks for a return and you don't give them a label within a certain amount of days, or you don't refund them, then you're going to get a derogatory mark against your account. You get enough of those, you'll go below standard without even knowing it. And then all of a sudden there's a chance that that account gets banned for being below standard and having already previously sold Amazon onto eBay. There's high likelihood that there's, there could be a cascading effect, which I've seen a lot of people talk about. Not a lot, but a decent amount of people talk about in the Facebook groups. I just want to warn you guys about that.
So Michael Watson says, considering Amazon dropshipping course, I think we have been talking about, we've been throwing the idea around. That's probably going to be more on the later end of this year, maybe this fall or late summer. We're not going to give any specific time range, just because, we're trying to develop some more strategies in the background. And obviously Tom wants to keep going down the path that he's going and seeing consistent results without getting a suspended account, to show you guys that what he's doing actually works and it's sustainable, right? So we want to make sure that what we're teaching you guys is the right way to do it before just, preemptively putting out a course just to make some sales. To us, that doesn't really matter. Your success is way more important to us than just putting out any course. Even though you guys obviously want to see it, you guys are going to have to wait a little bit for that.
I mean, one thing I can touch upon about that is that I've been doing the Walmart onto Amazon, and that's been going since November of 2018. So it's been about 7, almost 8 months now. And I really want to give it at least 3, 4, 5 months at the newer strategy, even though it's really not that different. I know it's going to work, just to figure out any kinks of what could happen and what, the possibilities. And I just really want to make sure that I also get some sort of service or person that's really good at what they do for getting accounts unsuspended, because I've never gotten an account suspended. I see it all the time. And I really personally do not, or would not know what to do in that case, other than just try to write a plan of action that you found on Google somewhere or whatever. But honestly, it's so much more prevalent in the Amazon game, where I myself wouldn't feel comfortable trying to teach that. And I want to get in contact with somebody that's really good at what they're doing, in order to make sure that the students are well taken care of if they get their account banned. I don't want to just leave you guys high and dry and just be like, oh yeah, sorry, I have no idea.
Yeah. So we got Candace Heim, Matt Parker, everybody's here. Music Mania says, enjoying the course sales going up. Awesome. That's a testimony from somebody in our course.
Thank you, Music Mania. You need to make a Facebook account. I remember your comment about how you don't have a Facebook. I believe in you. You can make
a dummy Facebook account. Just use the
You'll
group.
Be fine.
Yeah.
One person said eBay or Amazon dropshipping. That was just well. Honestly, it depends on where you're at. And if you think if you're anywhere between the beginner to intermediate phase, stick with eBay. Other than that, you can get into Amazon. Definitely do your research first off. Matt Parker's here. I believe you did say that.
David Garver says, after restarting my store because of the seller can't accept payment error, I got my first 2 sales 5 days ago, 5 days after I restarted my store. And then he goes on to say, I lost 1 sale because I hadn't set it up with Skew Grid and an item was out of stock. I'm setting up Skew Grid with your affiliate link today. Cool. Affiliate.
Appreciate that.
We appreciate the affiliate link usage. Also, Skew Grid is a bit complicated, and honestly, I would not want to learn the ins and outs of Skew Grid without the course that we have, because
I set up Jason's Skew Grid account.
It is, the interface is honestly very clunky.
Yeah.
I've used Sale Freaks, I've used DSM Tool, I've used Web Seller Guru, I've used Profit Scraper, I've used tons. Actually, I've used Price Yak too. That's 5 repricing softwares, and Skew Grid is by far the most complicated.
But it is by far the only way to go.
It's way more powerful than any of those, in my opinion. But it's more complicated. But once you learn it's a phenomenal tool, and I hope to grow with it over time.
I really like it because it's very math based. But if you're not good at math, don't worry, because I break it down inside of the course. But that's why I love it so much. And there's so many suppliers. There's 800. And if you guys have a supplier, if you're inside of the course and you have a supplier that you want, let me know, because Jason and I just got a supplier added on to Skew Grid the other day because we got connections. That's what it is. Also, one thing I forgot to mention before we go on, if you guys like us answering your questions, please toss this video a like, because I forgot to ask, and I would very much appreciate it. We need to get this video out. We got 61 people watching. That's awesome. That's one of the highest yet, and I mean, we appreciate it.
Toss us a like.
We're going to hit 10,000 probably in 2.5 months. 2.5 months, I'm going to say. Maybe less. Who knows? Maybe a little bit more.
So this question from Silver Legion is for you, Tom.
So, Tom, how many listings do you need to have on eBay to find a hot girlfriend? Honestly, it depends on your on your looks to begin with. But I'd say as long as you have enough to make a full-time income, you should at least be able to get yourself a decent one. I'm just going to toss that out there.
Jameson Griffin says, hey, Tom, watching from Tennessee. How do you upload one tracking number on eBay when a customer orders multiple items from different transactions,
that issue.
all from the same supplier? So I figured this one out. This is a tricky one, actually, because if you call up eBay and tell them that you're having this problem, they're going to tell you that it's too bad, pretty much. But this is the workaround. You have to go into PayPal. You have to add the tracking number from PayPal. You have to put in, because it's an identical tracking number, right? The only way to get through this problem is to put that into each transaction on PayPal, and then it will go through. It gets verified through eBay. And that's the only way. You won't have your metrics dinged from not uploading tracking. This is the only way to do it. And I wish somebody had told me that earlier, because I've been having a lot of cross sells especially with one of my suppliers, and I had to take some of those metric things till I figured it out. Right. So that's actually one of those things, Jameson, that, that nobody's going to tell you. We haven't even talked about that in the course. I had to figure that one out. So good question on that.
Yeah, that's one that I've really never run into, but I have seen it happen. But I believe I just took the L on the one tracking number, honestly. So Jess Well asked, why'd you stop engineering? You couldn't find a job or a passion? The job finding was no issue. Honestly, I barely applied and I found a job. It was honestly just the fact that I was working for somebody else, and I had always seen my father as an entrepreneur in my life. He was an appliance repairman. He owned his own company, and pretty much he did his own thing since I was an infant, or probably before I was born, I believe, actually. My mom had always been doing eBay on the side, even though she did have a steady 9-to-5 job. And it really just was the fact that I don't want to work for anybody else and make somebody else's dream come true, when I know deep down inside that I personally can do my own thing and make my own dream come true. And that's what has been happening over the last 1.5 years. And I thank anybody that has been following me on the journey, because I appreciate it. And if you guys have seen anything throughout the last 1.5 years, I would hope you have seen improved content quality and just improved just stage presence and quality of just what I'm giving everybody out there. Because the first video was made on a GoPro in a room that looked like a dungeon. And now I'm here, in the dungeon. This room's not much better. It's a little dark outside, so you don't have proper lighting. But,
Also, Jess, we were talking about this in Puerto Rico, Tom and I, when we were in Puerto Rico a couple days ago. And one of the things that we really thought about, though, is even though he had an engineering degree, right? Even if it's $70,000 coming out of school as an undergrad in chemical engineering, that's pretty common. But he was still driving from Malden through Boston to Marlboro, and it's taking, with traffic, over an hour every single day. And I saw the same thing. You're going to be traveling to work, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours per day to get to your job. You're working for someone else. You're not building anything. You basically have a salary or a steady income, and maybe you get a bonus every year or two, right? That's what you're working with. When you're working for yourself, you're actually building something out, and you have more of a long-term thing that you're building out.
There's no ceiling, where if you have a job, you're going to have a salary, and you're going to, even if you say, I was getting paid $60,000, which was lower than the average for chemical engineers, but I was living at home. It was a pretty cushy job. But $60,000 and $5,000 a month is what you get paid.
What does that come out to after
taxes and everything? I mean, I was putting HSA. A decent amount into the 401k, but I was coming home with $1,300 a month. I mean, $1,300 a paycheck, so about $2,600 a month, about half of what it actually was at the end of everything. And that's just not what I believe should be happening. Personally, you get taxed less as a business if you do it properly. Secondly, you get to write off and pay for things with real money, not untaxed money beforehand, so you can write things off. Yep. I just bought a $2,500 laptop. I'm not going to have to pay for that with taxed money. That's business expense. Yep. And everything else. We just went on a trip to Puerto Rico as a business expense, and it's all write offable. And, it's really the way that you want to work with your money and how I want to spend my life, because I don't want to spend my life working for somebody else, waking up and hating where I'm going to go when I can wake up, roll over and work for myself.
I think that's probably the worst feeling that somebody could have in their life, is waking up every single morning and dreading going into work. I never want to deal with that. So that's what really incentivizes me to work as hard as I do. And I think Tom could say the same. So that's kind of
our answer. It might have been a little long-winded, but that's definitely the most important one to us. So Sadrach St. Louis says, how do we avoid receipts from Walmart? You don't. I mean, there is a way to do it. I've never honestly done it. There's like a gift registry or something.
He's talking about invoices?
Yeah, invoices. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. We've noticed that over time, about 1 in 1,000 people will complain. I never had one person when I was doing Amazon or Walmart onto Amazon actually complain about a Walmart invoice, and I did thousands of transactions. So it's really not that big of a deal.
Let the numbers explain.
It's a limiting belief.
You're not going to get in trouble with that, you know?
So Jameson Social says, because you're doing things manually, do you get the top rated seller badge? And the only way to get a top rated selling badge is first off to be top rated, which is very easy to do when you're going manual, because you can pretty much make sure that you are getting everything out in time. And all it really matters, the biggest one is the valid tracking uploaded on time. Just don't mess it up, have proper handling times, and you're good. But top rated badge on your listings is top rated plus. Yeah, that's top rated plus, which a lot of people don't know is there's a difference. And that means that you're guaranteeing a 1-day handling time on your items. So it doesn't matter if it's all the items or some of the items. If you're top rated and you offer it on one item, then that one item will supposedly have the badge as long as eBay's working that day. And you know,
get 10% off final value fees.
You get 1%. 10%. Yeah, 10% off your final value.
If it was 9.15% on your final value fees, then it goes down to a little over 8.15%.
Yeah, it's 8.27%.
8.2.
Not to get too mathematical.
It's really not that big of a difference. Obviously, if you're doing high volume, that savings helps. But honestly, the SEO boost is what you're really getting out of being top rated.
No matter what, your items will show up better for being top rated. You just being top rated as a seller,
right,
than if you're below standard. Right. I mean, that's a given.
I feel like a lot of people don't know the difference between top rated, just regular top rated as your seller status, versus top rated plus, which is extended to the listing itself with the top rated plus badge. Yeah. And that's the only situation that you'd get the savings, the extra savings.
Because we did have a student ask about that yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. That's why I wanted to kind of expand on that.
So Gail here. Gail is my internet grandma. We thank you for showing up. We had a grandma that was going out of control on our cruise, our little like snorkeling trip in Puerto Rico.
She had a little
I asked her to be my real life grandma, but by the end of the trip I took it back. I don't think I want her as my grandma anymore.
Gail, you're still the grandma.
So Rihanna, I can't pronounce that one. If your account gets flagged, is it a good idea to close it? Honestly, if it's flagged, just stop listing on it. Stop paying for the subscription, take your listings down. And you can
stagnate it.
You can eventually close an account. There is the option to do so, but eBay makes it so hard that like it's going to take months to do so. So in that time to do so, you have to have like no cases open the last 30 days, no transactions, no anything.
No money owed to you.
Sometimes they owe you money and then they won't let you close it until they pay you back, which takes a while. So besides that, I mean, eventually you could close it, yes, but just make another account in the meantime. Your answer is perfect. Thanks. You're welcome.
Jess Wells says product research methods for Amazon dropshipping.
We actually have a video on that, literally on the channel. It's me with a green background. I forget what the title is, but that's pretty much all I do, even though that's for Walmart onto Amazon. You'll get a good gist of it, and it's pretty simple. It's basically the same thing as eBay or anything onto eBay. It's basically the same product research methods. There's just a few slightly different tools, but I do go over them in that video. So I want to know how I can open the problem with PayPal. I means the limitations. Hamza, I don't know what that means. I'm not quite sure.
DIY Game says, do you have a video showing how to get started with Amazon from scratch?
No.
I would probably, but if you're looking for, the product research is probably the hardest part. So, you look into that video that Tom was just talking about with the green background. That's on YouTube. That's one of his more popular Amazon dropshipping videos. So check that one out. DIY Gains.
Honestly, I feel like the way to start an account on Amazon changes like every month. So I made mine back in May of last year. Actually, it took me like 6 months to actually get started with Amazon. I was scared. I was nervous, but I overcame the fear. But in reality, I know that they ask for a lot more than eBay does, like proof of a lot of stuff, but I already had a business, so it was pretty easy. I just set it up and I didn't have any problems. But I feel like a lot of people that don't have LLCs or anything when they first start, that's where the issues run in. And Taco Stacks check mark, I believe that means that that's a pretty big account, says don't buy stuff that may or may not sell. I agree. So yeah, I mean, we're not buying anything right off the bat per se, but we are listing items. And really, you do not want to list items that don't sell, even though you don't have to pay for the items until they sell. So technically, we're not losing money. You're losing time, and you're losing a listing. Maybe if you know, out of 250 or 500 or 1,000 or whatever your plan is on eBay, you're losing that time and you're losing that listing space, and it's really just not worthwhile.
Really, the downside for us, because we're not actually buying products, is we're losing time. Time is really of the essence. Time is the most important commodity. So you don't want to be telling your VAs or yourself, wasting that time on items that probably aren't going to sell. So you really have to go off of the data from Zik Analytics and make an educated guess on if that item is going to sell or not. We don't want to be wasting our time. Moreover, you can also run the risk of having a low sell-through rate when you have a ton of items and not a lot of items that are selling. And we believe that probably has something to do with your overall selling or sale velocity on your account. We're not sure about that, but we assume that it probably does have something to do with it.
Yeah, I was going to get around to it today with my new store that I started on eBay. It's about 45 days old now, and I have seen a little bit of a slowdown in sales, but I hadn't listed since like May 10th, I believe, or May 17th. So it could have also just been the fact that my listings, I hadn't put any new ones up for a while. So I've doubled my listings. I'm up to like 250-ish now. I've seen sales pick up today compared to yesterday, but I'm going to try to cut out all the items that hadn't sold in the last at least 45 days or whatever since I've listed or started listing on this account. Any of them that haven't sold or don't have a watcher, I'm going to try to get rid of them. And I might relist them on the same account or relist them on a new account. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I'll stay up to date with that.
We call
with you
that
guys.
pruning
the listings. I believe Mark Augustine came up with that word. But Christian, I want to thank you, Christian, because sometimes you have off the wall comments, but you just said I look tan, and that is awesome. Thank you very much. I knew I looked tan. He said a little. It doesn't matter. He noticed it. He noticed it. I used SPF 100 in Puerto Rico.
I didn't even know that was.
I didn't know that was possible. PayPal is not working for purchases on a lot of accounts on eBay right now. So that's what David Garver had the issue with, and that was weird. And I've never seen that before, and I do believe that might have something to do with eBay's trying to switch over accounts to their payment method and with the eBay payments or whatever it's called. Yeah. Not sure. I'm really up in the air on that one. I don't know. Could
just be a technical glitch. eBay's known for a lot of their technical glitches that kind of come and go.
Yeah.
So Lazy Abrams in the house. What's up, Lazy?
Thank you for showing up. Always very here. Consistent. Zachariah, you can answer this one.
Zachariah says, how much should be my profit if I start with the lowest cost products, for example, $6 or $7? So, I mean, honestly, I don't really like to go that low with products. Like, you're going to be selling a product that's $6.99, $7.99. Even if you have, 15% margin on that, it's probably not going to add up to much, right? You're only going to be making 50 cents, 75 cents. I mean, obviously, if you're doing big margin, then it's worth doing. But I try to list higher ticket items, and Tom's been moving more towards that too. We used to do a lot of Amazon stuff, and we would, sell tons and tons of products. But when you deal with high volume sales, you deal with a lot of problems. That means you're going to have a lot more customer service, a lot more returns, a lot more headaches, a lot more complications. And, to me, it's not worth it. I'd much rather sell items that are higher ticket and get some, even if you have 10% margin on a $200 sale, that's some significant money, right? So that's kind of my take on that.
Very, very, very true. So Jess Wells says, do you have to go slow the first 2 months to avoid flagging, or is that just a myth? Since your new manual dropshipping store is getting a lot of sales, it's only the first 2 months. Honestly, yeah, in the first month, I hit $21,000 in sales or $20,000 in sales. And honestly, I don't believe you have to go slow, but I believe you should go slow if you don't actually know what you're doing. If you consider yourself a beginner or an intermediate, like I've said again during this video, I really think that you should try to go slow, because if you make mistakes, the mistakes is what's going to get your account not flagged, but probably MC011. You're probably going to get hit with some sort of restriction because you have way too many cancellations and you've only made 50 sales. Like, think about it in a percentage way. If you've sold 5,000 items and you have in the last month or whatever, a couple cancellations. That's minuscule compared to if you just started a brand new account, you have 20 sales, your repricer was messed up and you sold 10 items and you had to cancel them all and you didn't know how to cancel them properly or ask them to cancel it for you. And then all of a sudden now like 50% of your items are cancellations. That doesn't look good. That's a recipe for getting banned.
Yeah.
So I do believe that that's the biggest issue. And eBay doesn't really tell you or give complete transparency as to what is going on with those metrics, where one thing with Amazon is it actually does with metrics, but then Amazon will just ban you out of the blue and not tell you why. So it's kind of a trade-off.
Yeah. So Jameson Social says, I'm still selling on a flagged account, but selling manually on it now and making small amount of sales, but enough to cover the subscription fee and then some. I mean, that's good that you're making sales and that you're able to cover your costs. That's good. But honestly, I would not continue to use that account if you've actually, for a fact that it's flagged, right? Your promoted listing impressions, clicks, and sales have basically come to a straight line. It's, you're not getting any traction on those promoted listings. Why would you continue to use that account? To me, it's just counterintuitive to everything that we've been saying about manual dropshipping. Open up a new account, and then you can actually leverage the promoted listings to your advantage, and you don't have to worry about just covering your costs, right? This is a business, and you want to be making money, and you want to be growing your business, not stagnating. And that's basically where you're at with this.
If anything, is practice at this point, and I think that you should move the practice onto an account that's going to grow. That's what I think. But how can the customers wait over it? We don't sell Chinese products, Zechariah. I believe I've already said this, so they don't. I don't pay attention to that. So David Garver says, yeah, Skew Grid is complicated. I'm following along with your videos. It's extremely complicated, but there are enough videos, inside of the course and some online that, I mean, hopefully everybody should be getting it. It's just getting started. There's a lot. And definitely a lot of the at least the CSV upload template that I give you guys inside of the course, that should help load a ton.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hope that helps.
And I mean, Skew Grid has a very in-depth support, like a help desk, and you can find a lot of the answers there. But obviously, you have to read through those. It's going to take a while, and I know a lot of people don't like to read. So the shortcut is really to watch the videos. Tom spent a lot of time figuring out the ins and outs of Skew Grid, and it's a complicated software. So I'm one of those people, one of the rare people that actually enjoy going through the help desk and finding out what the developers have to say about the program. But most people would rather just watch a video where it's streamlined for them. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Christian says, interested, will PM. I'm not sure what you're interested or PMing me about, but all right. Sounds good. Matt Parker says, Skew Grid said you don't get your free credits until the end of the free trial. Is that for the affiliate link that you signed up with through me? If so, thank you. Secondly, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I do believe that they shouldn't be giving free credits until after you start paying.
Matt Poole says, hi, all, new to Skew Grid and have been watching your videos for a couple of weeks. Was doing Aliexpress on DSM tool for a couple months with no luck. I'm surprised not. Switched to Skew Grid. Thanks to you. Awesome. Good. Make that transition. That's really what we're trying to push you guys to, is make that transition. DSM tool, we're not endorsing them in any way, shape, or form.
Although they would like us to.
Yeah. Until they make some massive changes to their program and the way that they're doing business, we're not going to endorse them in any way, shape, or form.
At all. Yeah. So Gary Y says, what are you guys working towards with your own dropshipping business in 5 years? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years, your dropshipping biz, not your course and coaching? Honestly, that's a great question. In the next 5 years, I honestly see myself taking a lot of the items that I've done very well with in dropshipping and turning them into my own private label-esque brand on Amazon, as long as all of that stays consistent with how it's working at the moment. And Amazon doesn't just pull any like wild maneuvers like they're known to do. But as long as FBA and everything stays pretty consistent, I do want to start building up, eventually taking the items that I know are good. And that's the one thing I feel like a lot of people make mistakes with when they start with Amazon FBA. They go, oh, I just started with Amazon FBA. I thought the product was good. The research tool said so. So I bought $10,000 worth of product, and now I'm sitting here with $10,000 worth of bamboo toothbrushes, and I don't know what to do with them. And it's like, every step, you need to baby step in this business. And I feel like some people try to just jump in. Sure, some get lucky. Sure, some are better than others right off the bat. But really, I've seen it where you need to start. And I've seen right now with some of my items on Amazon where I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready to make the move.
Yeah.
I actually just made, you didn't know about this. I made my first purchase of an item that is going to go onto Amazon for FBA. Actually today.
Just a sample?
It's a sample. It's a
order?
sampler.
Okay.
I'm not jumping all in yet, but
Yeah.
it has showed to be very, very great. And I want to build my own brands and start going off of that. So I know that's not really building your own dropshipping business, but from there, I would really like to have at least stay up to date with eBay, Amazon, dropshipping, and then get into FBA type private labeling stuff. From there, stay up to date with everything and continue the coaching and everything like that. So that's what I would say.
No ambitions to sell on Shopify?
Meh. Maybe that's like
Shopify is a big undertaking.
It's in the back burner.
I've actually,
if you make my website,
I'm not going to do that. So I've been on Shopify for a couple of years now. I'm actually, one of my goals by the end of this year is to sell off my Shopify dropshipping brand. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it 100%, but making a couple $100,000 on that would be awesome. I have to put in some more work to get to that point. That's for me for the Shopify dropshipping. But as Tom said, going off the data and analytics of the products that you've successfully dropshipped in the past, and then breaking down the supply chain, getting to the source and private labeling your own version of it, to me makes a lot of sense. And that's where a lot of profit can be made. And so that's kind of one of my ambitions on the side too.
Yeah.
So thanks for asking that question.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Because
nice to kind of,
as Jason also said about like finding the source, I actually did find the source of my supplier, my US supplier's items, but it turned out that they had like an agreement with that supplier. So I've kind of actually used it against them in a few arguments when I'm calling them and they don't want to refund me on some items. I kind of tell them that I could just undercut or cut out their entire supply chain. In reality, it's just, to me, it's fun. It's like being a detective and you kind of go behind the scenes and you're like figuring things out. Same thing with like making all these crazy spreadsheets. That's what I find really fun. And I mean, I'm not sure everybody else feels the same way, but that's what I like to do. And that's what's keeping me going. You can answer this.
SMUT God 612 says, will dropshipping still be around in 5 years? I mean, I would imagine dropshipping is just a business model. It's a fulfillment type. Wayfair, it wasn't built in a year. Wayfair's been built out since I think they were started in 2001, 2000. Amazon started dropshipping back in the late 90s.
We met somebody that used to work for a company that Amazon would dropship from.
They dropshipped their products based out of Oregon, and they were, Amazon was leveraging this wholesale supplier as their drop shipper. So it's a business model. It's a fulfillment type. It's not going anywhere. I don't foresee these eBay, Amazon completely stopping drop shipping. They can try to stop retail arbitrage, but to what degree, right? Because at the end of the day, they're still getting sales on their platform, which means they're still making money. I don't foresee it stopping ever. It's a very basic type of a business model, in my opinion. So why would they get rid of it? I don't think it'll happen.
No, it's not going. I don't think they're going to get rid of it at all. I just believe that things will change. Obviously, rules will change, different things will change, and maybe retail arbitrage will be a lot harder to do, where eventually we'll just be forced to be doing strictly wholesale drop shipping right off the bat, which will be harder to get started in if you're a beginner, but eventually it's still pretty much the same business model with just a harder barrier to entry.
Yeah, so we've been on now for 45 minutes and we have 60 people watching. So if you guys could drop us a like, we would really appreciate that. We only have 23 likes right now, so give us some support. We'd really appreciate it.
We need some love here. Zachariah says, oh, I just found out about you today. I feel lucky. Thank you very much. Where'd you find us? Was it Instagram? Was it here? Let us know because I want to know. Gail Harris says, Tom, will the Virgin Islands be the next business meeting? Honestly, it should be.
Is that where Gail's from?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Virgin Islands is so close to Puerto Rico.
We have some friends actually from college that are from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Yeah, so maybe.
We might as well. I mean, there's no reason not to. Christian says, are you guys frat bros? Yes.
We were.
No, you're always a frat bro.
I thought you said a fat bro.
Oh. So Blood Thunder, says I quit doing Uber in Boston. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to do Uber in Boston. Boston is like the worst city ever to drive in. That's why I left. But pick up eBay dropshipping and you'll be safe at home at least.
Uber and Lyft, I don't honestly think are the greatest deals in the world. They don't pay you for depreciation on your car, right? What do you do when you're on your downtime? You're not getting paid, right? With dropshipping or any online business, hopefully you're making money weekend, at night while you're sleeping, while you're on vacation. You're constantly making some type of income. With Uber, Lyft, you have to be there at the right time, and actually you have to factor in all those expenses. So I've actually known some people that have done Uber and Lyft.
Probably lose money.
I asked this question in the main Facebook group the other day, and I asked people, what are you guys doing for side gigs? Or do you guys have any side gigs? And there was probably 5 or 6 people that said they're doing Uber or Lyft on the side. And I actually don't think that it's the greatest way to make money. In the short term, yeah, you're going to get some cash flow out of it. But in the long term, what is the expenses of it? Are you making minimum wage? Are you making less than minimum wage? I don't know. It really depends on your area. It depends on the car you're driving.
Especially Boston,
So I think you guys should definitely look into more sustainable ways of making money. I don't think that's the most sustainable way to do it.
So that's very true. I back everything Jason just said on that. Brian Henrinks with an X at the end says, are you familiar with Black Cat and like Black Cat tactics of doing things? Jason's more familiar than me.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't think we're going to go over any topics like that.
We don't do anything Black Hat. Just know that.
Honestly, not at all. Is it possible to buy a product for $6 and sell it for $11? Zachary, I have full of questions today. I made my calculations and yes, I'm sure there's a chance. It really depends on what the item is and if it's a good item. I mean, crazier things have happened in the world. I can tell you that. I understand the differences in the levels of top rated now. Thank you, James. And we got one more person to actually understand.
Christian says, so if I buy a new laptop, 100% of it is a tax write-off. That's over the years.
Amortized.
Honestly,
over the
years.
You use a lot of big tax words, Christian. Just buy it.
I've never heard of that one before, but yeah, you can write it off as it's an expense. It's a business expense, right? You're not watching porn on it, hopefully.
I don't know what Christian's doing. Awesome. Thank you. We'll check out the video. Amazon. Thank you, DIY Gains. Amazon dropshipping has given me gray hair. Honestly, it's a pain, and you need to make sure that everything is done like to the T, and at least you taught your VAs to the T, because I barely ever look at it, which is definitely was a mistake of me in the past, but I'm trying to be very consistent with it. I look at it every day now, but not too deep. As long as I don't have a negative feedback or an A to Z claim, I call it a good day and I just move on. But
in the beginning, definitely don't do that.
Yeah, don't.
Stay tight on that, especially if it's the first time you've ever sold on Amazon. When I get back into Amazon this week, I'm going to be very closely attentive to my account. I'm not going to give anything to my VAs for a little bit, although I have had 2 years of experience on Amazon. I'm going to closely watch it, really try to build up my feedback, build up my metrics before I take anything off my own hands. So I would challenge you to do the same thing, to make sure that you don't risk that account, because if you lose that account, it sucks. And I can tell you firsthand, it's terrible.
Same thing with eBay as well. You might as well run your store. If you're in the beginner intermediate range, intermediate, light, low advanced range, you might as well run your account yourself for the first month or two, very, very, very just strictly to make sure that everything's built up to a point where you can make a few mistakes. You don't want to be making mistakes in the beginning. You do everything you can to not make mistakes in the beginning. Give out free gift cards, call up the person, tell them you love them, whatever it takes.
Tom did call up
I've called up people. I've dealt with like the Bettys and the Karens of the world and literally got like reamed out on the phone for like 30 minutes in order to just apologize to them, to eventually refund them. And just so I didn't get any negative feedback.
I've never done that before, but I got to applaud him for that. That's dedication. It really is.
Can you guys convince Nahar to do that 1 year promotion again? I'm honestly right now, Forever Noob, it is going on. Like we saw a student message about it today. I can almost guarantee you Zik is doing a 1 year promotion. If you look at their website right now, 40% off for all yearly plans right now. So we didn't have to do any convincing. You came to the right place.
Just go on to the pricing section on Zik Analytics. You'll find it. It's there, man. Take advantage of it.
So where were we? Christian says, I'm almost at 20 to 30K. Best advice I got from you guys is don't think about it or analyze too much. Just do it. That's very true. Thank you, Christian. You're growing, and it's awesome to see that you've come so far. You were like 1,500 in sales not too long ago, and you're building up strong.
So he also says, I'm planning to outsource the customer service, then order fulfillment soon. Customer service is definitely my number one thing to outsource. I hate customer service. If anything in drop shipping gives me gray hair, it's customer service, because whenever you get a message from somebody on whatever platform you're on, it's almost always somebody complaining, bitching about something. And a lot of times it's not even something that you've made a mistake on. I get reamed out all the time for, something not arriving on time, or the tracking number hasn't been updated since the last time it was scanned, or,
my child's birthday is ruined. You didn't get the item in time.
That's one of those things you have to give to a VA when you can. Obviously, if you can't afford a virtual assistant, even part-time in the beginning, you have to handle it yourself. But that is the thing that I would definitely tell you to get off your hands as quick as possible, because it makes this business so much more bearable, and you can really focus on scaling your store. Yeah. And that's what you want to be doing.
So Lee1190 says, it's worth coming back into drop. I already read this one. So worth coming back into dropshipping, Tom. My account was suspended because I have $200 in fees that I need to be paid before it can be reinstated. The account was flagged, by the way. You should probably pay the fees.
Why wouldn't you pay?
If you're going to come back, you need to pay the fees. If you're dropshipping correctly, you're getting paid plus fees to buy the item. So there had to have been something going awry here. Pay off the fees, and then try to start a new account. See if they'll let you back, honestly, because you need to be paying the fees. That's like the most important thing.
Yeah. They'll probably send it to collections if you don't pay it eventually.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
If you take your credit score seriously, you're going to make sure that you pay that so you don't get a derogatory mark and hurt your credit score. Credit's everything.
Credit is everything in this business. Joshua says, I got my eBay account restricted because of Vero. Can I still dropship on another account? Honestly, I don't know. Try to make a new one, see if it works. If not, go stealth. Try to go stealth in some way, shape, or form.
What's that book you have?
It's called stealthbook.com. I read it. It seems very well put together. And honestly, if you understand computers, it all makes sense. It's really just making yourself unidentifiable to eBay, which is something I'm not really going to go over, but you can read the book.
What's it called again?
Stealthbook.com.
Okay.
And they have one for Amazon too if you get banned there. I think it's a lot harder. So this one I want to answer.
Okay.
Do you cover an easy way to transfer listings from one account to another just in case? Honestly, it's very hard to do so because of the fact that there's no real automated just listing tools anymore. The one way I would say it is possible is if you were listing with Skew Fetch into your old account, and then you create a new account and say you take all those listings down, or you got in trouble there or something. I don't know, you got flagged, whatever, and you want to list onto a new account. Then if everything's in Skew Grid, Skew Fetch, there's probably a way to push them all to a new account. But honestly, besides that, I don't think that there's really a good way to do so. It's I don't know.
But did you think of like if they had their own internal spreadsheet where you
have a spreadsheet,
organized?
You can then do it by hand. But I think it was talking about automated.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, either way, it's
easy
not
way
hard.
to
If
transfer.
you have a CSV file of your products, which you should, your VAs or yourself should be organized and have it in a spreadsheet. It's really easy to just take that and then upload it through eBay's file exchange. So I don't know.
You also need to have it's kind of a pain. So Jameson says, my other two accounts just got out of PayPal jail this week too. Looking forward to growing. That's awesome. Jason Sosebi says, I don't know what that means. You guys have a course on wholesale for eBay? No, not yet. We don't plan on putting that out for a while. And that's just, our preference. I'm a part owner of a fully cooked chicken plant. We can provide a variety of products like pancakes and 1 pound, 3 pound. Were you the one that contacted me on Instagram and asked if I could sell chicken for you? This is awesome. Honestly, retail bags or food service bags. We can produce. Message me back on Instagram. I want to
compete with Purdue Chicken.
I want to know chicken chips. What is a chicken chip? This is wildness. I want to drop ship this. If I could drop ship this, I could drop ship anything. That is awesome. I gave you 2 likes from 2 different accounts. Thank you very much, David. Not to say we haven't done that before. How do I show Amazon TBA tracking numbers on eBay tracking? Just got MC011 eBay. Yeah, well, I don't know. Honestly, the one thing I've been preaching for the last 7 months is to stop using Amazon onto eBay. Don't even use TBA numbers. It's not worth it. Everybody's getting MC011 and Hidden Black Beauty. I'm sorry.
How many times have we
I know you've called me cute in the past and everything, but I don't know what to tell you on this one. I've never gotten MC011. I haven't sold from eBay onto Amazon. Amazon onto eBay in 7 months, 6 months.
I really want to know this. And this kind of saddens me in a weird way. Like, what makes you guys think that continuing to use Amazon Prime specifically as your supplier is going to continue to work? What makes you guys think that? If you're out here watching this and you actually are doing that,
it's tough love he's giving you right now.
What makes you think that it's going to work? Because all of the evidence that we have seen, and everybody else who's an advanced dropshipper, all of the evidence that we have seen suggests that it does not work. And in fact, it doesn't work to the point that your account gets throttled or flagged. And then once it gets to that point, there's no reason to even have an account. I'd rather have no account than have a flagged account. That's what you're running into. It's an uphill battle from there with grease all along the way. You're going to slip all the way. There's no way to get to the top of that hill.
We have a ton of questions left and we've already been on for an hour. Let's keep going. All right. So sorry I'm late. I'm about to hire my first VA. Thanks to your VA course. Hope you guys had an awesome trip. Thank you very much, Moto Life. I hope you enjoy the course and have enjoyed the course. And, we did have a great trip. I'll tell you that. What are 5 questions I should ask in a VA in an interview? Honestly, just get the course. We teach everything inside of there, but it's really just common questions that you would get asked during an interview. It's really about the way and who you're. Oh God, I just turned off. Oh God. It's really the way of like who you've already gotten to the interview phase, because you should have qualified candidates in the interview phase already. And the interview is pretty much just common sense.
So David Garber is a taxi driver. He's looking to take some time off from his job, and he's going to quit his taxi job when he gets eBay dropshipping set up. So that's awesome, man. I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, that's great. So what school did you guys go to, BU or BC? We went to WPI. Nobody's ever heard of it. It's like MIT's little special needs brother, but it's still a great school. It's primarily engineering school. It's Worcester Polytechnic Institute, as Jason said. Looking for people to sell our chicken. Oh my God, more chicken. Awesome. Message me back on Instagram. I want to sell your chicken. I had my first sale last Friday, and I have done $500 in sales this past week, all thanks to your course. Thank you very much, Moto Life. He's taking action, and everybody watching this video should too. So DIY Gain says, when I started dropshipping, my wife was skeptical, but then when we took a vacation and she heard the cha-ching sound from eBay, she became a believer. That's awesome. I don't have that problem because I don't have a wife, but that sounds awesome.
I don't have that problem because I turned it off on my phone. That thing gets annoying after a while. I'll tell you that.
Now keep it up, man. Honestly. I got a year of Zik for $240. Yeah, I think that's what it costs when it's on the discount. I just got that one. My party is ruined. Compensate me $20. I don't know what Christian's talking about. Not my fault. Should have planned and ordered soon. Not 2 days before the party. I don't know what Christian's talking about. You are legends. Thank you so much. I know I am. I've done 6,000 in sales this month. I saw your post actually, Brian. Doing Amazon to eBay at 14% margin this month. Just transferring items from my flags to manual store. 10% positive feedback. Should I worry? Honestly, just stop using Amazon. Like I would just go straight Walmart and then build from there.
Man, there's a lot of people who have stopped using Amazon, and everybody now thinks that there's now an opportunity to use Amazon again because the competition might have dried up a little bit on certain listings or certain items. But stop using Amazon as a supplier. That's the only thing that I can tell you at this point. As far as I'm concerned, Amazon Prime is going to get your account flagged. And
we do teach inside of the course how to properly use Amazon as a supplier. And it's super top secret that I don't think anybody talks about. So if you want to hear about it, check it out inside of the course. I just made a mistake placing an order because I was listening to you guys. Well, I'm sorry that happened, but
you should have been multitasking.
It's great. It's great content. Men are scientifically proven to not be able to multitask. That is true. Yes. Oh. In regards to my previous question, the reason why I wasn't paying my fees is because I had VAs to pay, but nothing I was listing was selling. And that was because my account was flagged. Well, you're going to have to find the $250 to pay off your fees. Don't try to create another account without paying it. That's like fraudulent or some form of crime, I would say. But, I'm not telling you how to live your life. But you should start a new account after paying your fees. Do you sell? Oh my God, this guy's wild with his meats via dropship. I'm going to dropship your chicken. I'm going to tell you that right now, Jason. It's going to be dropshipped. It's going to happen. Hey, curious. Has creating a brand for yourself and putting your face to it really been helpful with networking and connections? Basically the whole YouTube channel. I mean, YouTube has been endless sources of just possibilities. I mean, I've been able to network with other people like Rico from Two Dudes. I've met Mark Augustine from No BS Dropshipping in real life. We've met just other people in general and just talking with people. Not that I had an issue with talking skills to begin with, but it's definitely improved it. It's public speaking, like I'm giving a presentation during college or something like that, except to a lot more people. And over time, a ton of people see it. It's kind of scary to think about that our videos have had almost 300,000 views so far. It's pretty wild, but it really has been endless opportunities. There's a never an ending of people or whatever shortage of people that reach out to try to have you push their course or their program or anything like that. And most of them are all garbage, but sometimes there's a dime in the rough and a great connection can be made. And I love it. And I believe that as long as you want to go out there and do that and you have the mentality for it, it's a great opportunity.
So Lee says, by the way, I don't care about my credit score. LOL, it's been effed up. And plus, I live in Japan now. You should definitely take your credit score seriously if you ever want to come back to America and be a person. Be a person who wants to take out a mortgage or anything like that. But hey, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. So,
which supplier to use instead of Amazon? Just use Walmart for now. If you don't know, inside of the course, we have over 20 suppliers now, I believe. So. Hidden Black Beauty gives a bunch of Z faces.
I'm putting her to sleep.
Sorry, we couldn't help your MC011 problem. But Jason and I have spent so much time learning Amazon to eBay. I don't have time to relearn anything. So I just need to keep smashing my head against the wall and maybe we'll eventually break through. You know what? That's a great idea. I think it'll work. Get back to us.
Isn't that the same one who asked you about a girl?
Yeah, it's the same guy. he's a character. I enjoy Silver Legion. Matt Barker says CSV right on. Half cooked chicken sucks. No, I'm gonna drop ship it. Tom, you get more and more attractive every time you do a live. It's because I got a tan. That's what it is. I got a tan. Hey Tom and Jason, glad to catch you live. Thank you, Josh. How's it going? Right? Yeah, Josh is a student. Thank you very much for showing up. Have you been convicted of a felony? No, I have not been convicted of a felony. Not yet,
at least.
Not yet. Thankfully, someone's trying to have you guys push chicken. Yeah, definitely want to do something to invest more in myself. That's very true.
Parker, still loving the ka-ching. Yep, you'll get through that soon, I hope.
Luckily, you don't live in Texas. I'd kidnap you. Well, that's great to hear. Thank you very much. John says, what are the advantages of having multiple stores and when should I consider making more eBay stores? Honestly, the advantages of having multiple stores are that you can take items that aren't performing well on your original store and push them to your second store. It's kind of a luck of the draw of what items are going to sell and which ones aren't. It's unlike Amazon, where as long as you're on that listing's selling, you're going to make sales as long as you're in the ballpark. But with eBay, there's a chance that maybe people weren't buying that item that week, and then all of a sudden you got pushed to the bottom or lower than some other people, or some guys just absolutely dominating that listing. It's really kind of a game of luck. I would say about 30% of the items you should aim for selling. And then there's, if you are sourcing from items that are selling, then this item is selling or has sold at one point in time, whether you sold it or somebody else did. So there's a good chance that if you put it on the new account, it could sell. So when to get a new account, I would say once you feel comfortable building your regular store up to about 25,000 and plus in sales a month, I would say that's a possible time to move over to start a second one to push your other items down.
Yeah, so we're going to try to move through this as fast as we can. We have a couple more questions and we're going to wrap up. So Brian says, yeah, I'm trying to move on from using Amazon as a supplier. That's a good idea. Want to start wholesale? Any videos you recommend on wholesale? I have no idea on how to do it. I actually have a whole channel, a YouTube channel on wholesale dropshipping. It's called Wholesale Dropshipping Champions. Check it out. Let me know if you have any more questions after that. There's also a Facebook group for you there. Josh Bosworth talking about the cha-ching again. Yeah, turn it off. I tell you, turn it off, man.
Jason says, thanks, guys. You laugh, but we will make a lot of money. Good niche, as a lot of people are not selling online. Most chicken companies have good old boy thinking it's a big market. Honestly, I am interested. I want to make this work. I'm not just laughing. I think it's interesting, and I can't stop smiling because it's just interesting.
It's chicken.
Then you have to get back to sleep, and the cha-ching, you're awake wondering what you sold. Jason says, Jason, this is one of the most entertaining lives I have seen from you guys. And Alexander says, smash that like button. Thank you very much. Killing it.
Smash that like button.
One last smash of the like button. If you guys want to help me get up to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, I would also appreciate that. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Tom, you're cute with and without a tan. Thank you. I try. Jason's cute too. He's a nice
I
kid.
think I got more tan than you. I'll definitely take that. If anybody wants to compliment my tan,
you got a tan. Yeah.
I didn't even get sunburned on the whole trip.
Joshua, we already answered your question earlier in the live. You're gonna have to go back and check it. You must have not been listening. Thank you guys very much. Smash the like button. Please subscribe, and we'll see you next Friday. But I'm gonna put out at least 2 new videos, actual videos next week. So thank you guys, and I'll see you there. We'll see you there.